Ooh.
Played with the ugliest man to ever pitch in baseball too, Mr. Randy Johnson.
I played with a couple of ugly guys, but big unit was a mullion. Yes, a face only a mother loves.
Boy, I'm telling you.
Yeah. But I tell you what, man, if crap hit the fan and we got into a beanball war, because Lou, going back to Lou again, Lou didn't play it. Lou was like, you hit one of our guys, we're hitting two of your guys. Mm-hmm. That's the way it's going to be. And then if it got out of hand, all it took was Randy to stand up on the top step and go, hey, I'm pitching tomorrow. And it was like, oh, shit. And that put a squash to things real quick. The whole beanball thing was over because Randy, he'd drill his mother. He even said that. I hit my mom right in the neck. I don't care. I mean, it's about winning. And he had that. He was that kind of guy, man. He was a son of a bitch when it came the night before pitching and the day he pitched. He walked in. He picked out the tunes. You didn't mess with it. You didn't turn it down. You didn't turn it up. You didn't change the channel. You left him alone. You let him go do his deal, and he was going to give you 7+, strike out 10+. And I'm telling you, he was a mean sucker on the mound. Nobody liked him. I mean, if I had to pick one guy, that'd be my guy in a go-to game that you had, and the game was on the line. You had to win, just like what happened in '95. He was in his prime. He was a stud. And then we traded him because we thought his back was hurt. He wasn't going to be able. He goes on and wins two more Cy Youngs, couple World Series in Arizona. I mean, so the guy took care of himself, and he was a hell of a pitcher.
He was a machine. I got to watch him and Nolan Ryan pitch against each other once.
I tell you, both of them were in the same mold because Randy went to Nolan and talked to him during the winter. Like every winter, they would get together and he would basically sit down and go through the mental part of the game, mechanics, and that's where Randy learned a lot of it. I mean, I hated facing either one of those guys. When he ended up getting traded to Arizona and he had to face him, he's 6'11", he's assholes and elbows. By the time he lets go of the ball, he's 45 foot. It's right on top of you. He throws 98. Legit 98 because it's a different gun and the way they measured the speed and velocity back then. I mean, it's on you so fast. And same thing with Nolan. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story about Nolan. Nolan, a great man. He knows I'm from Texas, so we'd always talk, always, made a point, yes, sir, Mr. Ryan, sir, because he is the man. And he came up and I'm leading off the inning and he's walking up. And he's stepping on the edge of the dirt in the grass right out in front of home plate. And he's got his head down. He's stepping. And he looks up at me and he goes, you fucking bunt, and I'll drill you right in the head next combo. And I go, why the hell would I bunt? I'm not bunting. I'm going to try to take you deep. And next pitch, he goes to the mound, freaking over my head. So that's the kind of guy Nolan Ryan was. He was just like Randy. He wasn't afraid to give you what he called a bow tie. And they would definitely keep you honest and not let you have a comfortable at bat.
So the bow tie, I'm assuming it's neck high, just right at your...
Right there. Yeah, wear that bow tie, baby.
Oof.
Now
just as long as you're not spitting chiclets, that's fine. I don't want to be spitting chickles. I don't want to get hit in the mouth and lose my china.
When his curveball was on, he was almost unhittable.
Nolan?
Yes.
Oh, he was. He threw 100. He was mean. His curveball was a 12-6 curveball, like you roll it off the end of the table and it drops straight down. The spin velocity. I mean, he had another gear on his fastball where it literally you would all of a sudden you were like, oh damn, I better go to a 2-strike approach and spread out because his ball would get on you. He hid the ball so well with that high knee, and then next thing you know, it came out and it was hard to pick up where his release point was. And that ball would get on you in a hurry. So you couldn't afford to try to gear up. Even though you knew you're going to get a fastball and you have to cheat, you can't cheat too much because it's by you. So he's one of those few guys that even though you knew a fastball was coming, it was hard to hit.
See, and I always want, because Nolan Ryan was before my time, and I always wondered what kind of made, because he's not a big guy, is he?
Ask Robin Ventura what kind of makeup
I know. But I always wondered, like, what made him.
That's a famous picture in Rangers Stadium when you go in there. It's his bloody jersey where he just beat the piss out of Robin Ventura.
He picked on the wrong old man that night.
Absolutely.
Nolan's just he was
Absolutely.
just an old timer that didn't put up with shit. Nolan was probably 6'2", 220 maybe.
Yeah, and he's a Texas boy.
Yeah.
You know, he grew up on a ranch. He grew up throwing hay bales around. I mean, he was strong as an ox, and he didn't play it. You know, he didn't care if you like. He was the president of his fan club and didn't care if you were a part of that or not. He didn't care about making new friends. So especially when it got between the lines. So that's what I respected and admired the most out of him is the fact that, you know, the way he took care of himself and his longevity. And unfortunately, we were the last team he pitched against. He blew his elbow out and never came back after that. So that was kind of a sad time too.